Yo guys, what is good? Zakaragi back at it again for a performance review for the Nike GT Cut 3. So let's find out if these are worth the hype, and let's get into the good, the bad, and the ugly. And starting with traction, we have a full-length translucent herringbone setup, and it does need some break-in time, and once broken in, the performance was good, not great. Right off the bat, I will say though, it is an improvement from the GT Cut 2, but its biggest weakness is that it collects a lot of dust on the outsole, making it a little inconsistent on dusty courts, and it does struggle a bit. Like, even after I would wipe dust off, I would still slip sometimes, and then when I didn't wipe for a while, I would randomly get really good grip, stop on a dime grip for no reason at all. So it was just really random, and inconsistent would be the best word to use for the situation. And I know a lot of you out there are going to be saying like, hey man, of course you're not going to get that consistent grip on dusty courts. You're playing on a dusty court. But that's not the case here, because with other shoes that I've tried that do have translucent outsoles, they perform better than these and were consistent on dusty courts. For example, the Puma All Pro Nitro, as well as the Nike KD16 as well. Like, I would wipe dust off of those just out of habit and they would still grip right away. But thankfully, on clean courts, I didn't really run into this issue whatsoever. They performed well and were reliable, but still didn't feel like I was getting completely glued to the ground at an elite level like other shoes I've tested. So if you guys play mainly on dustier courts and don't have access to cleaner courts most of the time, then I wouldn't exactly recommend these. But if you're on the other side of the spectrum and you play on cleaner courts most of the time, then these are definitely a good option for you. And if you guys are wondering about the outdoor performance, well, I haven't exactly had the chance to take these outdoors at all, mainly due to the fact that it is a snow massacre outside where I'm at right now. I can't even wear my regular shoes outside. I gotta be wearing my winter boots and whatnot. But if you guys do want to know how the durability of the outsoles have been so far, just from playing indoors, all I can say that's been great and I've had no complaints at all. Now on to cushioning, and this is a great setup for guards or players that are light on their feet, because it's a low to the ground with great court feel, responsiveness, and energy return type of shoe. Impact protection was good for me and my body type, but if you are someone who needs more from their shoes because of problems with your knees or just in general, then this probably isn't a good option for you. At first, I was a little let down from this cushioning setup, mainly due to the fact that I kept comparing it to the GT Cut 1 and 2 with how those shoes featured a zoom strobe board, which I really missed in these shoes. But then I realized that I wouldn't be able to give you guys a fair and proper review if I kept comparing these to the two previous models, so I had to look at the cushioning setup for what it is and what it actually does do well. And honestly, I do think this is a good debut for ZoomX in a basketball shoe. Obviously, it's not perfect, it does need some improvements, but what I really do love about the ZoomX foam is that it's lightweight and you really don't notice these on your feet when you play in them. So if you're a quicker player like me, that's pretty beneficial because you don't have the weight weighing you down and making you more tired, so you can stay more fresh and just stay as fast as possible for longer amounts of time within the game. But what I don't like about this cushioning setup is the Phylon foam carrier that holds the ZoomX foam, because it does need some break-in time and it's super rigid and stiff. So once you do break this foam in, you will feel better when you play in these. But I just wish that for the Nike GT Cut 4, they consider using a Cushlon foam for the carrier as opposed to this Phylon right here. Also, the heel to toe transition is very smooth. Felt really great to hoop in. So let's talk more about the materials now, and they're really nothing special, but they get the job done. No break-in time needed, super lightweight, comfy, supportive, and surprisingly durable, at least from my experience with them. But being that the materials are on the thinner side, I wouldn't exactly recommend these if you know you're the type of player that typically rips through their shoes, because being that these do retail for $190 US, well, let's just say 200. It's just a lot of money for you guys to buy a shoe that could potentially rip on you quickly. So I want you guys to save your money out there. So if you do want to grab a pair and you know you're that type of player, maybe wait for these to go on sale if they do end up sitting in stores, which I assume they'll probably will given the price tag on them. But moving along into the support, and it worked great for me, the P-Back's plate that can be seen in the midfoot area gives the shoes good torsional support and rigidity, and acted as a spring plate which propelled me forward every step I took, and the heel counter isn't as rigid as I'd like it to be, but it gets the job done. Lateral containment was also great, had no issues with that while doing any type of move. In my opinion, I feel like the shoes should have been given more of an exaggerated outrigger right here, because there's hardly one here to begin with, and there were times where I was playing in these and I had a misstep and I actually did roll over with the shoes. Thankfully, didn't get injured. My ankles are fine, but I think having that outrigger there would have helped in preventing that and just making things a lot better for me when I played in them. So if you do need more support in general, because this P-Back's plate just isn't enough for you guys, then I would recommend using a move insole in combination with these shoes, because these things come with a built-in shank plate right there, which is great. And it also adds to the torsional support and rigidity of the shoes, and it also adds to the cushioning setup as well, making the shoes a little more comfortable as well. I'm not sponsored by these guys, by the way, I just really love using their products. But moving along, the lockdown was pretty solid as well, no complaints there. Didn't experience the shoes loosening while playing or anything like that. They felt nice and snug and secured my foot into place. So when it comes to sizing, I would say go true to size, but it does run narrow towards the toe area, which actually worked out for my foot because I have the perfect amount of space in the toe area, but wide footers might want to consider going a half size up. But overall guys, the Nike GT Cut 3 is a great option for guards, and I feel like is a great improvement from the GT Cut 2, but still isn't as good as the GT Cut 1. So I don't think these are worth paying the full retail price or even resale price if you're considering that. So if they do happen to mass produce these like the GT Cut 2, I would just wait and see if these go on sale, because then I'd feel like it would be more worth it to buy. But let me know what you think about these in the comments down below, and have you guys played in these? If you have, share your experience in the comments down below. But we're at that point in the video, it's time for hashtag Sakuragi what you rockin'. So for today guys, got another great Nike basketball shoe right here, the Nike Sabrina 1, my favorite Nike basketball shoe of 2023. So that's it for today guys. I appreciate all of you for watching. I'm signing out. Peace.